In this week's episode, we go to a fantastic French market. We use the beautiful food to make amazing pizza. And then finally, when we're sailing, we sail really close to some rocks. Look how amazing this sea arch is.
So we've gone for a bit of a walk today, different path out of Dournenez. We've headed along a path that comes up the side of the river. So we're sort of at the top of the river now. And we're going to have a little look round and then we might show you some of the walk on the way back. But this bit with all these beautiful flowers is lovely. On the way in we walked over this bridge and then sort of ended up on the other side of the river here. Sat in a little park having a rest. We're sort of heading back round now. I seem to have lost Alan though. He disappeared down this way. Ooh, big boat. Look at that. A bit of a graveyard around here. It says it's for sale, but I'm not sure you'd want to buy it. It's a bit of a wreck. When we go on these walks, we always end up on little tracks. We've got no idea where we're going half the time. We're using Google Maps a lot to find our way back or around. But lots of little tracks like this. Can you remember the name of this path? No, something green.
Oh, voyage. Yeah, green.
Voyage. Something like that.
V-O-I-E.
It's a very nice leafy green path. Lots of bikes we've seen going up and down and families, haven't we?
Yeah. Now we're deciding what the French traditionally have for Sunday lunch.
I think the French traditionally have for Sunday lunch roast beef.
And I don't.
What do you think they have?
Well, because they call us le roast beef. And so why would, if they have traditional roast beef, why would they think it separated us from them? Doesn't make sense.
Don't make sense. All right, we'll Google it and find out.
We need to know.
So having started this debate about what the French eat for Sunday lunch, Alan is now needing to know, so he's going to Google it and find out what it is they eat for Sunday lunch.
Well,
I'm saying roast beef. There was a lot of roast beef in the market. Well, a lot of beef to be roasted.
I was going to say roast chicken.
And?
It's roast chicken.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Roasted chicken with potatoes is a traditional Sunday lunch in France.
As well as roast beef, right?
Yeah.
Rubbish.
No mention of roast beef.
I've been conned. So another part of the path, we can see a little children's playground. It's very wide. It's a part cycle track, part pedestrian. There is some footage, I think, on the camera of a bridge that we walked under with a marina on. We're now on top of it. And we can look down the river. It's a bit noisy, I'm afraid, because of the cars, but if we look over, you can see the lots of old boats, part of the boat museum. And it's looking out to Ile de Tristan in the background. The causeway is just about visible. Here's Alan and Mara in the view on the bridge. Quite a high one. Ooh. You know, it's really hot. There might not be much sun out, but it's really hot. And I'm feeling the heat.
Thanks for landing a helicopter in the back of that.
I know, it's an old lightship, isn't it?
Scare weather.
You can see the sea right out in the centre of the shot. There's a little gap. The Bay of Dournenez in the background and the Crozon Peninsula right behind that. 2 yachts sailing through. We've walked across the bridge and now we're on our way down. It's a long way down. Lots and lots of steps. Mind you, I am quite pleased we're going down and not up. I don't think my tired legs would do up. We're heading our way down to the boats. And here's the bridge and water level and the boats and the skipper. Are we heading back now?
Yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the walk back.
There are some really amazing boats here. They give away 16 berths to old historic boats, sailing boats really, but they can only have them if they sail regularly so people can see them out sailing. What a brilliant idea. We brought Seagull in today. We were on a mooring. You see that sort of few rocks on the other side, that's where our mooring was, but we brought her in and we put her on the visitors pontoon here. We need to charge things up. We've been out there for 8-9 days now, so we're going to go to the market, so hopefully get some nice fresh produce and get rid of our rubbish and things like that. So it's going to be a lovely day. So we've arrived at the market. Lots going on. So we've already bought 4 saucissons and we're eyeing up the olives. What a lovely looking food. So now we're looking at some nice veg and fruit. Wow, what a choice. This looks amazing. And our basket is filling with lovely fresh fruit and vegetables. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, it is a bit wild and windy this morning. We had a fantastic evening celebrating Bastille Day, even though it's today on a bank holiday. Watching all the fireworks and having that lovely night out with friends. This morning we've woken up and it's wet and miserable and dreary, so we popped off to the shower, came back. Alan decided he was going to settle down and do a bit of work, and we've had a bit of an interesting morning because that didn't happen. I was just popping on deck and I heard a knock, and we went out and we had the douane there, which is the French version of customs. And they were very nice and they asked if they could come aboard, which obviously I said they can and they were welcome. So 5 of them all got on the boat at once. One of them came down below and I stayed on deck with a couple just chatting. But the interesting thing was the things that they wanted to see. So one of the first things they asked for was our passports. So we had those, obviously, that was very straightforward. And we'd checked in at Roscoff and they're stamped and everything, so that was really, really easy. The next things they asked us for, we did have, but we weren't terribly organised in knowing exactly where they were. So they asked us for the ship's registry next, which is this document here. Ours is valid and up to date. So if you're coming to France, I would really highly recommend that you make sure that that is done and it's up to date and you've got that certificate with you on board. Ours is here, but it took us a little while to find. The next thing they wanted was some details about the boat. So this is like a builder's certificate. So they wanted to know just some simple details about engines, types and that sort of thing. But then they asked us for our radio details. So we had to supply our call sign and our MMSI number. This we found a bit tricky to find, but we did find them. We've got our call sign next to the radio on the wall, so that was easy, but the MMSI number is not up there, so we might just change that little sticker and add the MMSI number to it. But we did find those as well. But what was interesting is they had a bit of software on their phone, and we had to turn the radio on and our GPS, because they're linked, so that they could see us on their bit of software and check that the information we given was correct. Luckily we passed. Because we passed the checks and had a bit of a hunt through the cabins and looked in lots of lockers and things like that, they gave us a very quick certificate like that, which you keep on board, and if customs asks to see you again, you can show them that certificate and hopefully you won't have to go through the full check again because they can see that it's already been done. Things we were really nervous about that they thought we might ask for is to check our flares, which they didn't check, although ours are on board, the ones we have, and they are in date. And fire extinguishers need to be in date as well. We were worried about that one. I think, diesel, red diesel, but because we've been here for, well, over a month, we didn't have any around, so they didn't ask about it though, which we thought they might. So that was our really interesting morning. We're both feeling very happy and pleased with ourselves, so we celebrated with tea and biscuits. Well, we've been in Dournenez now for about 2 weeks. We spent at least 8 nights out there on a buoy, and then we've come in here and had a few nights. Alan's been doing a bit of work online, a bit of digital work, and it's been actually blowing an absolute storm through. Really unusually stormy weather for July, but it's finally chirped up. It's now beautiful. So we're going to head out. We're heading our way back round to Camaret, but we're going to go to Annecy de St Nicholas to anchor for lunch, and then just wait for the right tide window to pop round and go through all the rocks and shorten the journey. So really looking forward to it, having been in port for so many days. Well, it's quite windy out here, but we have got wind on the nose. We've got about 14 knots. We're heading over to this north coast of the Bay of Dournenez. There's an anchorage over here that we're going to pop into. We're going to stop and have a bit of a break, wait for the tide window that we need to go around towards Camaret. But there are lots of caves there, so hopefully we'll get to have a little look at those. So the sea condition's not too bad. It's very slight. And when we're not wind on the nose later, we have a lovely sail in this breeze. So all good. The skipper, I believe, has gone down below to do a log. Can you see him? There he is at the chart table. You can just see his arm, look. So he's just logging our position. And that, on our draining board area, is a homemade pizza dough that I made yesterday. We're going to have pizza for lunch. So we're just coming in towards the anchorage now. Skipper's getting ready. Look, he's even got his sunglasses off. Ooh, he means business.
Got to see where I'm going.
Got to see where he's going. They are a bit dodgy at the moment, those clip-ons. You can see some of the caves over here in the coastline. And then as I come round, hopefully you can hear because of the wind, there are a few boats already in here on anchor, so we're just going to choose a spot. So we've come to our anchorage. We have homemade ham, pineapple, mushroom and mozzarella cheese pizza. And the skipper is looking hungry, I'd say.
Bloody starving.
Yeah, bloody starving. It's time that we had something to eat, isn't it? And you can just see round the corner there, the caves. Well, we left the anchorage, no problems at all. Got out of there, put our sails up. And we have now cleared the headland. We had to sort of go into wind for a little bit longer just to clear the headland, but now we're round it. We are sailing, full sails up, 6.5 knots, and everything is set perfectly. The course, it is heaven. Perfect sailing conditions. Woohoo! The coastline is so dramatic here. It looks fantastic. We're sort of cutting through a little gap in the rocks around the headland. We're downwind sailing, so it's very warm, very pleasant sun in the cockpit. We've just come around that sort of island. Got all our sails up. Have I just come across? Ooh, not as easy as you'd think. We're coming all the way across the cockpit. There. So we're going to leave that to our port side and then pop through a gap. And then it's just round the corner to Camaret. It's just lovely today. Just lovely. The sun is shining. And the winds are light. Calm seas. Very happy. This is just fantastic. Look at this. You can see the full sea arch over there. Look at that. Amazing rock formations. This coast is just so dramatic. There's quite a few yachts out here today. Lots of sails up on the horizon. And we are sailing and heading through this gap. Haven't got far to go and we'll be through. And then we've got a couple of miles to go in that direction to get to Camaret. When we get there, we're going to anchor for the night and decide whether we're going to head through the Chanel de Four tomorrow, which is over there, or whether we are going to stay another night and then do it the following day. Just as we're coming around the point, well, we've gone around the point, we're on our way in, you can see this lovely sea arch. Yet another one. There are so many caves and sea arches along this coast. They're really beautiful to look at. We are back in Camaret. We're anchored up. Lots of boats anchored around us. It's nice gentle breezes. This is where we're sort of anchored. Quite close to the shore. Alan's down below. We've got the engine running just for a few minutes. Just to top up the batteries after we've used the windlass a few times. There's Alan, he's just tidying up, I think. Putting a few things away. Got to clear the chart table, and then it's time for dinner. I think we're going to have sausage. A sausage dinner, but probably toad in the hole. How excited.
So we came into Camaret sur Mer last night. We're now, the weather's going to be coming from the west, the wind. So we've decided we're going to go through the Chanel de Four and then up to La Baraque. So the plan is to set off from here around 11, give us 2 hours to get across to the bottom of the Chanel, and that will be Slackwater Brest, and then we can take the tide up, hopefully. So we're looking forward to having a nice sailing day.